Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from Channel 5 studio in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes, Start Your Morning Right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and April Martinez.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning, Paul. How we doing?
I'm doing fine. I find this morning to be a bit humid, but I'm not going to start with complaints.
I don't think so, Paul.
I'm going to start with the fact that it's a blessed morning. We got up, we are alive, we're breathing, and a lot of people may not get the opportunity to say that this morning, and so I'm thankful to God for being here and for being alive.
I don't think it's humid. You just came a little bit late. No, but it's a beautiful Tuesday morning. I know that for the past couple weeks, we have been kind of enduring a bit of showers throughout the weeks. I know it's also been slowing down some infrastructure work that we have been anticipating as well. And so as it does get indeed warmer, I'm hoping that we're able to go about our lives on regular schedules and move along. I know, Paula, there are quite a few topics trending, though, both internationally and locally. On a lot of our minds is still the elections that is set to take place. So let's head straight into what's buzzing. So we spoke about it yesterday, the aftermath of the blowout that we saw at the Belize City Civic Center, where the People's United Party convention took place on Sunday. Thousands of persons from across the country gathered there to show their support for the PUP. Among many presentations that were given, I think one of the more anticipated ones was that from the Prime Minister of Belize, Honorable John Bersenio. Now, I expect that during these conventions, Paul, you kind of want to hear progress that was made, and you even kind of look forward to the promises that are given from the party. But one thing that I don't think we expected was the possibility of a walk back from the PM regarding his intentions in remaining in politics or retiring after this coming term. So it's quite an interesting one. I believe it was just a few weeks ago we heard from PM where he said that this term coming up, essentially 2030, would be his last time in office. I'm not sure where the change of heart came about, if it's encouragement from his party members, his advisors, or even his supporters, because John Bersenio is loved across the country and especially in Orange Walk, but he seems to have had a change of heart.
Yeah, you call it a change of heart, you call it an awakening, if you would, or you could even call it a strong recommendation from cabinet. The thing is, when the PM announced his departure or his retirement, he was in a calm, collect space. The wind outside was blowing. He was cool, and he really gave a great interview. That was a few weeks back after he had done a morning show at a different media house, and so he was in a good space, right? Calm, collected, as he isn't normally when he's doing interviews, and so he let the cat out of the bag, per se, to say that, you know what, this will be my last term. And what that did, that triggered a lot of conversations on social media. People asking, questioning, guessing who will be
successor,
the next party leader. Because you're not selecting a prime minister from a party. You're selecting a potential prime minister, a hopeful, but you're selecting a party leader. And so he listed a few names as well in that conversation: Corozal Hyde, Francis Fonseca, Julius Espat, Kevin Bernard, Kari Musa, to name a few. And people began running with these names. And I'll just say that for a lot of people, Corozal Hyde seems to be the most popular of them to lead the party into the future. What he did by listing those names while announcing his retirement, which I believe will still come, he basically created a platform for infight to take place. Whether you like it or not, these things happen in these leadership transitions within political parties. Just look at you don't have to go far back. Just look at the United Democratic Party
currently
and the blow they sustained as a result of a transition, a leadership transition. And so I think what happened here is that after he made that announcement, listed those names, perhaps this division, even if it's just within the public sphere, began to rear its ugly head. And you don't want that especially leading into a general elections, because people, your voters, your supporters, will begin to lose focus on what is the true purpose of this election, which is to get us elected and back into office. And people will begin to vote based on who they believe should be the next leader. There'll perhaps be some division where that is concerned at the polls. And you want people, your voters and your supporters, to go to the polls with a clear mind, with confidence that what I'm voting for is a party that is together, a party that is united, and a party with no prospects of division in the future or leadership divides in the future. And so I think that Cabinet and his close colleagues advised him to say, PM, you may need to walk back on that early retirement, or, I mean, you say early retirement, but he's been in politics for 3 decades, but you need to walk back on that retirement conversation. You need to reinstill or continue to instill confidence in voters, hope in your people that you're not just going to leave them halfway in the next term if elected and trust a new leader upon them. And so in our interview with PM on Saturday, he did just that. He technically walked back on the decision, saying, hey, I may have misspoken, or I spoke too early, too soon, and I want to inform the people that my focus is to ensure that there's a smooth transition, that there isn't an implosion as a result of leadership infights, or a result of infights in terms of on who should be the next leader of this mass party. Will it come? I think the PM has his mind set on retiring after this may be his last election. I think he's still set on that. However, you have to create a smooth transition into that. You can't just tell people, yeah, boy, this is my last one right before a general election. And so we'll see that transition. My hope for all political parties to ensure that there isn't this type of implosion that we see with the UDP is that the successor is identified from early, that there is an agreement, though there's always agreement among the majority as to support for this leader. I'm sure they'll go into a leadership convention as well, and that the leader is selected in fair and in a process that's not rife with quarrel and backbiting and division. So we'll basically, in essence, he's saying we'll put that in the back burner for now, but it's going to happen. And so it's an interesting perspective, and it's an insight into how politics work and how these leadership transitions take place and how volatile they are and how vulnerable a party can become when you change leadership from one hands to the next.
Well, speaking of back burner, I know one of the conversations that has been pushing forward more and more has been the redistricting exercise that has been more on the forefront since the announcement and even before the announcement of the general election. We heard from Jerry Enriquez being on the morning show and even on the news speaking about the case that's currently before the High Court. Well, interestingly, we also got notice that a press conference will be held this morning at 10 a.m. from the Belize Peace Movement, also known as the BPM, to speak of the same redistricting exercise as well.
So if you will recall, it's the Belize Peace Movement that initially brought this redistricting case ahead of the 2020 general elections. And they were parties to the consent order that was signed in 2019, basically where government committed before the court to undertake this redistricting exercise, which we know went through some of its process but was halted at Parliament. So now, after separating apart from Jeremy Enriquez and these two other claimants with the Trinidadian lawyer, the case that's before the court, which we expect a ruling, basically seeking an injunction to stop the general March 12th election in essence, the Belize Peace Movement is doing its own thing now. And this again may be historic. The horse is out of the gates, the train is out of the terminal, moving at full speed down the track at this point. Election dates has been announced. The People's United Party held its convention. Nomination day is set for Monday. What the BPM is doing, they're holding a press conference this morning and they're asking the court for an expedited hearing, an urgent hearing if you would, and they're waiting for a court date to hear their case. I'm not certain at this point what their claim is. Perhaps it has to do with some injunctive relief as well, but they are the ones that spearheaded this redistricting call, this call for redistricting. And so this morning we'll find out exactly what it is that the Belize Peace Movement wants. Again, I don't know yet what sort of fate this claim will have, sort of fate it will suffer or not, because we haven't even heard what Justice Hondura has to say about Jeremy Enriquez's case and that moving forward. But it's just a bit of news that we received this morning. So now there'll be two cases before the High Court where redistricting is concerned and a possible challenge to halt the election. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't want to make any judgments as yet or try to predetermine what the courts will rule, and so I'll just leave that there, even though I have my opinions.
And of course, as soon as we get that update at 10 o'clock, we will be providing that to you guys as soon as possible, and also in our 12 p.m. newscast. But as you mentioned, Paul, Monday is nomination day, and I am certainly looking forward to seeing what it's going to look like from the United Democratic Party's perspective. Now, you did an interview yesterday with Boots Martinez, and he is, one of three representing the UDP in Port Loyola. Now, this has been quite an interesting follow. We've been sharing with you guys every chance we get as soon as we get updates on the developments within the United Democratic Party. That goes without saying. We have repeatedly shared cases where there has been constant divide within the UDP. Interestingly, though, Paul, in your interview with Anthony Boots Martinez, it almost sounded kind of like he's running independent, but on the banner of a UDP flag. I'm not sure. Perhaps you could clarify what that conversation was like.
I'm just as confused as you. I don't know what's there to clarify. Did an interview with Mr. Martinez yesterday, and one of the pressing questions for me was, well, whose banner are you running under? Though it seems to be evident from the many banners that are on lampposts across the constituency, and two, whose UDP, if you would, is it that you're running under? Is it the Tracy Panton UDP? Is it the Shine Barrow UDP that you're running under? Because we had this conversation last week, and as far as I'm concerned, Dr. Nelma Mortis is running in Port Loyola under Shine Barrow. And
Philip
Willoughby is running in Port Loyola under Tracy Panton. And then you have Mr. Martinez here, who, by the way, is a formidable candidate.
And
I don't
well
know if
known.
he still is, but he has a track record in Port, 4 terms. Though I'm a bit concerned about the fact that he mentioned that he built about 50 houses in Port Loyola within 4 terms, which to me is kind of concerning because, I mean, after 13 years, all you did was build 50 houses for residents in Port Loyola, and they kept voting for you. So for me, that's one thing. I don't know if that's something you should be boasting about.
Bragging about.
Right. I built 50 houses for these people. Then he spoke about the write-offs for certain homes in that community. He spoke about paving certain streets and handing over, in an essence, a pristine constituency to his successor, which would be Mr. Gilroy Usher. But Mr. Martinez is yet to say which party he's running under.
And you kind of posed the question to him.
Well, I had to just because Port will make history in that they will be potentially the first constituency in a general election to have 3 UDP candidates. I mean, just thinking about that is not only hysterical, but it's just crazy to think that voters will have to decide between this red, and that red if they get the colors, or this UDP, and that UDP. You're shooting yourself in the leg, in essence, and it's almost a free ride for Mr. Usher into a next term. But I'll tell you something. I live in that constituency, and I'll say without fear or favor that there is a need for strong leadership in Port. There is a need for infrastructure, especially road infrastructure, to be addressed and to be upgraded. That's one of the primary concerns there. I drive through the streets on a daily basis. And so anytime I get with any one of these potential leaders or leaders, that's one of the things I raise. How do you deal with citizen security in Port? How do you deal with road infrastructure as well as economy and business development? And so Boots Martinez makes for some comic relief in politics as well, but I'll tell you, he is dead serious about running, and he intends to win, or he believes that the residents of Port has his back and has his support.
Well, you can see on the banner that is placed on several polls in Port Loyola. It is over now, as he calls it. One of the questions that I had when I saw his interview was, where is his campaign financing coming from? Because if he's essentially not representing the Shine Barrow or Tracy Tager faction, then who is supporting his campaign? Is this coming from his pocket? And will it be enough to persuade these voters to give him another chance in Port Loyola? It's going to be an interesting one to follow and to see even what nomination day will look like on Monday, because according to him, he already applied or something like that. He said earlier last year.
He actually applied yesterday. Yeah, so he went in and he paid his fees. It's like $250. I didn't even know, or perhaps I didn't remember. That's a thing to put in. You have to make a payment for nomination, but nomination day will tell a lot.
Yeah,
honestly, because nomination day is the day when they hold these huge parades or marches towards the nomination center to nominate the constituent the standard bearer, if you would, of choice, on both sides, the People's United Party and the Democratic Party. It's no doubt, based on the showing on Sunday, that each PUP candidate will show out with a parade and with a crowd. How do you, in Port, divide all the UDP supporters between 3 candidates or 3 potential candidates on nomination day? it will tell a lot. How many supporters are behind Mr. Martinez in red? How many supporters will be behind Mr. Willoughby in red? And how many supporters be behind Dr. Mortis in red? In fact, will Boots perhaps walk in to the nomination center alone, and what will that say about his chances at the election? So nomination day is going to be an exciting one, not only in Port Loyola, but across the country where the United Democratic Party candidates are concerned.
And we will be following that for sure. But moving into another topic of discussion, and this one is a bit more on the international scene. I know that it has been really disturbing seeing all the plane crashes taking place across the United States. Most recently, a Delta airline flight from Minneapolis crashed and overturned while landing in Toronto Pearson Airport on Monday afternoon. Thankfully, in this case, I believe there were some people that were able to evacuate that flight, but you know, Paul, just kind of observing all the crashes taking place, it makes me really scared of flying in general. And I know that across the country, we're seeing people flying outside of Belize and also into Belize. You raised an interesting point. I believe it was last night, though, when I shared this with you, Paul, when I think you said something to the effect of, apparently these crashes always or more frequently happening. We're just now seeing it more on the news. So I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, that's one of the commentary I heard, and so I kind of passed that on. However, at this magnitude, it's not necessarily a common occurrence, if you would, but over the last couple of months, we've seen at least 4 aviation incidents of this nature. Fortunately, in this case, no one lost their life. But certainly it creates that bit of fear and panic among those who have to fly on a frequent basis. But no one lost their life in this. We thought to highlight it because it's one of those topics that's buzzing, and also there's concern surrounding flight and aviation at this point in time. I know there's pointing fingers here and there as to who to blame for these aviation. I think there are incidents. I think there's just a lot of conspiracy theories out there, but it's definitely a time where the panic is high and the anxiety is high where flying is concerned. Will it stop me from getting on a plane? Listen, this moment I get the plane ticket, first flight out,
Just say a prayer.
Plane has never crashed with me before, and I pray to God it never will, but I'm still flying.
All righty. Well, our last topic of discussion is one more of an announcement. We shared yesterday on our social media pages 2 particular announcements and 2 programs that we have been adding to our lineup. More recently, starting tonight and on Thursdays, we will be highlighting our Decision 2025 Show Out or Blowout pre-election coverage, where we're going to be having panel discussions and moderations from April Martinez on the state of politics in Belize leading up to the general elections, key information you should know, certain constituencies, some facts about it, some history about it as well, where politics is concerned. Now, I think that this is going to be an interesting discussion, especially with everything that is taking place, Paul, as we just mentioned, the situation with the United Democratic Party, and also here in Belize with the People's United Party. So power and the people, that is.
So that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to Power and the People tonight. We have Demi, we have Mr. Young, and of course, like you said, April Martinez moderating
Dr.
this.
Harold Young will also be here with us.
And I think the name is fitting.
Yes.
Power and the People, discussing all the power dynamics in politics and the people's response to all of this policy making. Then we also yesterday launched the announcement of the Spanish news.
Noticiero semanal.
Hey, come on now, sir. I'm a bit shaky with my Spanish.
Same here.
So Noticiero Seminar, which means weekly news, if I'm correct, at Channel 5, right? But this one raised a lot of conversations I didn't expect or didn't see coming.
Yeah, I don't know why people would be...
There's a split in opinions as to whether or not the news in Belize should be translated and presented in Spanish.
In another language.
Or in another language. And people, there's some people that are strongly against it. I know Belize, and we are a set of opinionated people, and when Kofi got their opinion, then we'll put it out there. I will say that this show is this new segment has been highly demanded. There have been some high demands for the show for years. Hispanic speakers, we're on the ground. We're doing the interviews, and persons who speak Spanish, they've been asking, when will you guys do something in Spanish for us? When will you guys bring the news to us? In fact, there are certain parts of Belize where you can't go and expect to do an interview in English because you're downright, you're in a trouble if you think you could get some of their people to talk English. And so one is challenges us as well. We have to brush up our Spanish, because I oftentimes have to either call in, phone a friend and say, hey, help me with this interview, or just ask them to say what they have to say, and when I get back I translate it. So I'm excited for this one because it does serve a portion of the population in a way that they deserve to be served. The
Absolutely.
News in Spanish, and we are leading the charge with this. You have to understand, we're testing and correcting all the errors, and basically on the cutting edge of news where this is concerned, and we'll make all the mistakes for everyone out there before they follow us.
All righty, well, we can't wait to highlight that as well. Just interesting announcements coming by, and we hope that you guys do welcome the idea of news in Spanish, because as Paul mentioned, it's definitely serving a needed population. Yeah. Moving now, though, into our weather update to find out what we can expect from the folks at the Met Service.
Good morning, Belize. Somewhat moist conditions will prevail today, then drier conditions will start to set in tonight. The 24-hour forecast: skies will be sunny with cloudy spells today and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers will be generally isolated today, with slightly more occurring mainly over central and southern areas. Tonight, showers will be isolated. The maximum temperatures for today will reach 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 88 inland, and 76 up in the hills. The low temperatures for tonight will be around 77 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 70 inland, and 65 up in the hills. The winds from the open sea will be from the east at 10 to 15 knots, and the sea conditions will be choppy. A low tide will occur this morning at 7:20, a high tide this afternoon at 1:10, another low tide tonight at 8:36, and another high tide early tomorrow morning at 2:17. The sun will rise this morning at 6:17 and will set this evening at 5:55. The moon will set this morning at 9:50 and will rise tonight at 11:03. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for mainly fair weather with only isolated showers. There is also the possibility of an isolated thunderstorms developing over the Maya Mountains Wednesday afternoon or evening. For a review of our forecast and other products, please visit our website at nms.gov.bz. With that, we end this morning's forecast for the Belize National Met Service.
Alrighty, there you have it, your update from the folks at the Met Service. I know that we are hoping that the lead up to the elections will see more promising weather. I know we heard from even Prime Minister on Sunday, speaking of just the reason why the elections are set to take place at this time of the year because of the weather conditions being cooler in temps. But you know, Paul, with election season, you're going to see a lot of road works taking place. So I know that we are certainly hoping for these conditions to remain positive.
Indeed, and we've also set our morning shows leading up to the general elections in a way where you could see conversations with the candidates, the potential candidates in each constituency. And so this morning, we'll continue with those conversations. Yesterday, we had one UDP representative from the Corozal district, which again speaks to the divide within the UDP and them still trying to figure out their candidates. But we did attempt to have those conversations yesterday. And today, in our first and second discussion, we'll open the floor to discuss the process and projected plans with the PUP candidates in Corozal.
Absolutely. In our other conversation, we'll be learning about Japan International Corporation Agency, also known as JICA, and how one of our own Belizeans has secured his space to play baseball in Japan.
And then finally, we'll hear from dedicated environmentalists about the work they're doing for Belizean reefs as we combat climate change.
Alrighty. We got to take a quick break though, but when we come back, the conversation switches directly into meeting the PUP candidates in Corozal. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Really? You not switch yet? You know what? I tell you, I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when the thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time for switch up and brand, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Our older persons deserve to live with dignity and respect. They built this country, and now it's our turn to care for them. Under Plan Belize, we've taken significant steps to improve the lives of our seniors. We've expanded the Boost program, launched the Roving Caregivers program, and included seniors in our low-income housing initiative. We've made healthcare more accessible by expanding the national health insurance and removing primary healthcare fees. We've championed the rights of our older persons by enacting the disability legislation and signing the Inter-American Convention on Protecting the Human Rights of Older Persons. The government of Belize is committed to ensuring a better tomorrow for all Belizeans. especially our elders. Plan Belize, delivering on our promise to protect our older persons.
Belize, the countdown to Decision 2025 is on, and the voices that matter are speaking up. What are the biggest issues? Who are the key players? And what does it all mean for you? Join April Martinez, Demi Williams, and Harold Young as they break down the issues, the candidates, and the real impact of this election. Tune in to Power and the People, where your voice matters. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. only on Channel 5.
Morning once again and welcome back. This is our first conversation for this morning, and we are joined on set by none other than Miss Thea Garcia Ramirez, who is a Corozal Bay PUP candidate, as well as Mr. Florencio Marin, no stranger to politics in Belize, and he's a Corozal Southeast PUP candidate. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, guys, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So you all are on the heels of National Convention, big turnout at the Civic on Sunday. Let's talk a bit about how you all are feeling after that convention and what it meant, the support that was shown for that convention on Sunday. Start with you, Mr. Marin.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate this invitation. Completely energized after Sunday. We were a little concerned what the response would be, but one of the things we found out in our division is that we didn't provide enough transport for all who wanted to participate. So I'm looking forward to the next event. I believe is our Northern Rally, and so I'll have to make it up to some of those who couldn't make it. No, but our people were energized. I think seeing PUP all over the country. It's all good. It's all good. No.
Well, I had the same problem a bit, and there was a shortage of buses in the north as well. So even if you wanted to bring in anybody, there just wasn't enough transportation to do so. So that was different. And as well, I think that we're looking forward to that regional rally that will be in San Narciso, actually in Honorable Ramiro Ramirez's backyard in San Narciso, I believe. And so because it's a little bit closer to home, we'll have more opportunity to really get together with one another. And I think it's always a good time when we are within our PUP family. We always have such a good time, and the positive vibes and the energy is like no other.
What inspired both of you to enter politics? For you, how many terms have you served now, Mr. Marin?
If I win this one, it will be for my fourth term.
Fourth term.
Yes.
So it's but before that, before your winning streak, you were in politics?
Not really, not officially. I entered in 2008, and that's when our party had lost at the polls.
Yeah, you entered at a rough time.
At a really rough time, yes.
Okay, and you won that year?
I won that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What inspired you then to enter?
I grew up in my father's household, clearly, and I used to see him interacting with people. And as a little boy and as a young man, it was something that appealed to me, how he reacted with people, how he would be able to transform some of their lives and getting some work done to improve the area. Sometimes I would go with him to a certain area and they would speak of the issues that are of concern. And then when I go back in a month's time or whatever, then you would see these projects starting to work or starting to manifest itself. And that appealed to me, impacting people's lives, and of course, when I got out, I became an adult, I got married and all that, and I was in the private sector, but, the opportunity came, and I realized that is where I really feel an opportunity, how I can help my community, how I can give back to Belize and Corozal, Southeast, and leave it better than how we find it.
Yeah, and for you, Ms. Garcia?
Well, I think that obviously my family is also involved in politics. My father ran Corozal Southwest for 20 years, won twice. But I'm also inspired by the strong women in my family to not only lead, but to be very active in my community. There are strong Corozal women as well who have inspired me. We just have to take a look at Mrs. Olga Marin, who was the first mayor, a female mayor in Corozal. I'm hoping she's not the last. We have, even in the other party, and they're actually related, Mrs. Lupita Longsworth is also somebody that, for me, always thought that she ran against, she swam against the tide. She never won, but she represented bravely for her party in her area. And I think that not much has been done to recognize the fact that during a time when it was practically unheard of in a rural area in the deep north, she was the sole woman standing, representing, and did so very honorably, very, very bravely for a number of years. So, we have a lot of strong women. I'm primarily an activist for community, for women, for children, and so this is just another way, like my colleague said, politics is a more direct way to impact and a more direct way to affect change. And so if you are interested in community work, then sometimes it's not the only way, but it's one of the most direct, most shortcut ways to say, okay, we can impact and make a change and make a difference through politics, through legislation, through being policymakers.
Before you get in, Sab, let me just ask as a follow-up question. There's a common thread here between both of you in that both of you had relatives deep in the trenches of politics. Did you all at any point ever feel entitled to hold the positions that you hold right now, to say, you know what, them put in the work, this stuff for me for continue, and nobody else could take this spot?
There's a saying in politics, that initially there is no inheritance, but if there is, you get half of the friends and all of the enemies.
That's an interesting one.
Right. So clearly there's, in my case, there's definitely name recognition, but I've had to earn my keep. And I think in a way, when you hear these comments, in particular from people who don't know politics, I find it's more a disrespect to our people, because they go to the polls. We take our message to them and they make a clear, independent decision. So when you hear criticisms like that, I mean, you're actually criticizing the people that they don't know what they're doing. And I find that the best inspiration comes from when I go in my area. Sometimes you have issues problems that you're knocking around, and when you go and you visit and you sit down in the kitchen table, drink a cup of coffee or a tea with them, they are the ones who give you some basic idea of the solutions they need in the area. So, I mean, it's the people who make these decisions, and the day that I stop serving them, and any politician, well, then that will be the day we are voted out.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like for you to take a chance at that question.
Well, in my case, I've been to 2 conventions, and so I don't take anything or anybody for granted, especially not in politics. And definitely it is a disrespect to the voters who vote you in, who elect you at the end of the day. I've not been elected, soon yet, but definitely it is a disrespect to them to say, okay, well, you just gave away your vote. I think I've earned my right to represent. I've earned my right to represent my party in that division. I don't feel that I've ever felt entitled or said that I'm entitled I think that I'm a hard worker, and especially if you know women are that demographic that, especially in politics, it's very hard to get in. It's very hard to have a seat at the table. And so everything that where I now am, I've really had to work very hard for. As a matter of fact, I feel like women have to work twice as hard to be considered half as good. And so I don't subscribe to that at all.
I like it.
I want to take a look at the Corozal district really quickly. When we think of Corozal compared to all the other districts, there's an obvious difference between the characteristics there. And to look at the constituencies that both of you are representing as well. I'm interested to know what are the specific needs within your particular constituencies. Mr. Marin, you represent the rural community, yes. And Ms. Garcia, you are representing Corozal Bay. What are the challenges coming out of these communities?
For Corozal Southeast, perhaps the biggest challenges is some of the infrastructure. All the villages thankfully have electricity and water, but it's now the expansion, because there's always village expansion. So it's always a challenge to be able to work and get expansion in a particular village. And because it is rural and it is spread all over the place, so if I work in one village, yes, that is very good, but then that means that there are other villages that are not getting it. And so that is the double challenge, that I have to go and ask for more than one investment. Of course, thankfully I get the good support in this government, but it is that challenge in that way, in that when you're asking for this project for one village, it's almost as if you're leaving another one. So you have to find that balance to include everything.
So one does not feel left out.
Exactly. As well, it's a rural area, and for the past 13 years completely neglected. We were considered the second poorest district, not anymore. A lot of activity, a lot of economic activity in the Corozal Southeast area. We feel that with the investment of this new road that is soon to be inaugurated, we feel that tourism will become a huge boom for us in the area. It's already starting. We've already had the visit of Minister Anthony Mala recognizing the potential in the area. So it is something that is growing, and so we anticipate that will be the next opportunities for Corozal Southeast if we manage it correctly.
So infrastructure is the focus.
Correct. Thank you.
You, Ms. Garcia?
Well, I think one of the primary concerns for Corozal Bay residents is access to land for residential purposes. Corozal Bay forms most of Corozal town, so we're very urban if you want to look at it that way, and so it's kind of landlocked when it comes to opportunities for first-time landowners, and so that I believe is one of the main challenges, to find land to parcel out for first-time landowners is a real challenge. There just isn't very much. It's like Belize City, there's just, within the city, it's very hard to find available lots that are still government owned and are at that preferential price that is given. So that is one of the challenges. Another one of the challenges is, I think, for all the Corozal district, the four divisions, is that a lot of our young people travel to the city. Some of them travel every day all the way to Belmopan for work, and so a lot of the problems stem from, again, transportation. Having reliable transportation, having transportation that is comfortable. You take a long ride to work and back, that is reliable, and that will get you there on time and get you back home safely. And as well, the challenge is that we have some of our very, very best people scattered across the country. On the upside, I know that Corozaleños, all of them from all four divisions, have the reputation for being hard workers, some of the hardest workers out there, yes. Most reliable workers. We come all the way from Corozal to the city and still get here on time, ahead of time. and we work. We're very productive people, and so you know, but of course, like I said, some of our very best people, brightest minds, have to leave Corozal for some of the higher paying jobs. I believe that we would want to find work for them within the district so that we develop as a district, so that we can keep them home. You know, Corozaleños don't like to live outside of the district, to be honest. We prefer to be at home. I'm sure that's the same for everybody. But you know, it would be nice to have job offerings that are middle and upper management or supervisory level, so that we could offer. So we have to find a way to ensure that we bring some industry into the district, and we are able to develop so that we can get our people back home, closer to home.
That's an interesting perspective, Ms. Tian. I wonder if you've considered the fact that the Corozal district is the closest to the Mexican border and Mexico in terms of geographical location. Of course, there's the Cayo district, that's Guatemala, and how to take advantage of cross-border trade in your district in order to do just that, economic growth, job creation, so as to keep Corozaleños, as you put it, in their area to work and build better lives.
Yes, well, definitely, because we have the Corozal think tank. I chair that committee, and it's a committee of like-minded Corozaleños that are for Corozal and want the development for Corozal, and we have some ideas on how to do just that. So we have to bring in some more light industry, and we're basically agriculture, and very agriculture led, and so we have to move on now into manufacturing, into processing, to kind of upscale the just, you know, and secondary kind of processing in order to start that up. But we do have, and then maybe you just answered something I was about to say, because we are very close to the border. We have a lot of educational opportunities, and with the exchange with the Mexican peso, a lot of our young people are very well educated, yes, and are very well placed in jobs across the country, which is why the Corozal think tank is such a powerful group, because we have Corozaleños from all over the country that feed into the think tank to try and get it started and moving along with ideas on how we can better train the people that we have at home and how to make sure to bring development into Corozal. But we are a very industrious district with very industrious, very hardworking and productive citizens.
You know, Paul spoke to the opportunities that exist with the borders, especially in Corozal, but I also think of some of the ways that we have sort of imported crime as well, when we think of the cartels that are taking over some parts of Mexico so close to us. What are your concerns where security is concerned in Corozal?
It is definitely a challenge, and in this government that we've had to work very closely with our Mexican counterparts to be able to work, to coordinate some of the work being done. It is two sovereign nations, so clearly there's jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. And we've not only had to work internationally, but also nationally, meaning coordinating our police, working with the police, working with customs and immigration, to create one national security strategy that will be able to keep us at the forefront of defending the sovereignty of this country, in particular when it comes to the influence of the cartels. I mean, it is an influence. Thankfully, I think if you can see that we have been able to keep it controlled for the most part, and it is a challenge that will not leave anytime soon, and it is bigger than Belize. It is an international problem. So Belize does play its role, and working with our international partners It's always pleasing to hear when they say we're a small country and we are punching above our weight in terms of the fight against transnational crime. So it's a lot of challenge, it's an ongoing one. And I'm sure that when we win again, it is something that we'll have to continue working on and trying to be at the forefront of it, trying to keep the country safe for our citizenry.
What are your constituents saying, Mr. Young?
I think everyone is concerned, and over the past couple of years, I think there's been a couple of scares in Chetumal that sometimes at some points in time have dissuaded our residents from going across for certain periods. I do think, however, Corozal district, and in particular Corozal Bay, have the reputation of being very calm and low-key. We like to keep it that way. We like our communities safe. We like our communities, for the most part, quiet and very peaceful. So we are as well very, very peaceful, very law-abiding. And I think from my perspective, as somebody that likes to work with community and create that sense of community, that we have a lot of work to do, particularly with our young people, with our young men and our young women, to move them away from a life of crime, because we are losing a lot of young people to violence on a whole. And it's not just violence when it comes to gangs and cartels, but in particularly, I work very hard and push back against domestic violence and gender-based violence. There's no excuse for violence, and we have to keep working with young people in particular to change that mindset, give them new techniques and teach them how to deal with anger issues, teach some anger management skills, and how to be able to navigate all the different scenarios and the emotions that come with and the stressors that come with living in 2025, for instance. And so we have to keep working. I know Mr. Marin talks about it at a national level, and of course coming from the ministry that he leads, he would know better than I do about national security, but I'm more down to the local and the grassroots and talking about people and one-on-one in small, vulnerable communities. We need to get in there more and do some more work at the grassroots level.
One of the I wanted to just add that because I live in Corozal, and when I go to Belmopan every week, I leave very early in the morning, like 4:30, and one of the things that it's not a full measuring stick, but one of the things that gives me great pleasure is that at that hour, I see people out in that hour exercising in Corozal. I see young women and women, at that hour it's still dark. And so that's one of the measuring sticks I use, that people feel safe in their communities. All right, I mean, does that mean that we're crime-free? No, we're not. We still have a lot of work to do that. But I said at the very least, people still have confidence in our communities to be able to move out and, be active and to use the communal places wherever they can to do their workouts, to socialize, etc. So that's one of the little measuring sticks that I use to say, all right, we're doing a good job. A lot more work still needs to get done.
Fair. One of the frustrations that Belizeans have expressed time and time again about politics and politicians has to do with corruption. They've expressed frustration with corruption. What do you both intend to do to increase transparency and accountability where your candidacy is concerned, and if you're given a ministry, where your ministry is concerned?
Again, I think, that is a very fair criticism, but I think if you've seen over the years, both governments have implemented certain laws that helps put checks and balances in this. One of the first ones is the Integrity Commission, where annually we have to submit a report of what our assets are. So that is one method to be able to check on us as elected officials.
Have you been doing that?
I've been doing that every year, except for this year, not yet. But it's every year. I can tell you it's a time-consuming process. It's but we do it every year. So I mean, that part there, like I said, sometimes you deal with the people just throwing it around, again, and also too within the government, everyone do know that there's, I mean, it is not just the purchasing of something on one instant go. There's many processes that has to go before the government starts procuring items in their different ministries. There's a lot of checks and balances that are always transparent. So when someone just throw, I mean, it's very easy to throw an aspersion, but yeah, they don't look at all the checks and balances, all the processes that must go through before a purchase or a procurement is finally executed. So.
Well, I think it's an unfair generalization. First of all, I think that there may have been instances in the country's history where there may have been a politician that has done that. But I think generally it's a generalization. It's unfair. It's mostly unproven, because I don't think that anybody has proven that some of these wrongdoings have actually occurred. I think that a lot of times when we see somebody managing their own money well, we tend to say, oh, it's the product of corruption. But if somebody has been working for 30 years, for me, it's normal that the person would have been able to earn, buy their home if they're managing their money well. If, they've been working at a certain level for 30 years, the least you would expect is for them to own their family home. And if they can't even do that, then how do you expect them to manage the country's finances or our constituency's finances? Well, so I think what has to happen is that we need to ensure that our expectations are this, that everybody should come up to the same level instead of everybody trying to, okay, well, come down here, come down to meet me. I would rather say, listen, all of us should be able to earn enough to live in a way that is dignified, have our own home, and have our basic needs met. So I think that comes from a place where sometimes people feel like they're not getting their fair share. And for me, what I think that signals is that we need to work harder so that everybody can have a dignified home, a dignified way of life. For me, I'm really big on that they have food security, that they have proper health care, that they are able to work and go to school in security, in safety. And I believe then that people just, I think, are angry when they say that because they feel like there's no social justice. So I believe that once that kicks in, that you can see that everybody has the same opportunities, then that kind of goes away. And I do believe that as Mr. Marine has said, that there have been checks and balances implemented, that it is very easy to cast an aspersion, but it's not so easy to get away with something like corruption. I have not worked in government per se, but even at the statutory body level, there are many checks and balances. You have monthly financial reports. You have yearly financial reports that you have to send in. There is a way to procure, and there are things that you have to make public that are public knowledge out there. So it is very, very hard to accomplish something such as corruption and financial misappropriation. And as we have seen, people are not standing for that anymore. I've seen in the news just last week where somebody at the Sports Council, I believe, had misappropriated some funds. Apart from jail time, I believe that there's a move now to confiscate that person's assets.
Liquidate their assets.
Right, and so for me, I don't remember when I've ever seen that. And I think that is us as a country maturing and growing and say, okay, you got these things with funds that were not yours to use, and so the government now is moving to liquidate those assets and get back their money, and I think that is a good move.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right.
One second.
I'll quickly, you could make your final remarks.
Right. I mean, I think if you see, in particular in this government, every time the government is planning to utilize the nation's resources, they take it to the House of Representatives, to debate for the issues to be aired out, to hear the pros of it and to hear the cons of it. And then it becomes law. But this government has, this Prime Minister in particular, has been very stickler that every cent that is spent, he takes it to the House of Representatives for approval by the National Assembly.
Excellent.
So, I mean, like I said, the aspersions are easy to cast, but of course, I mean, does it mean we still don't need vigilance? Yes,
100%.
and we have to keep it, and it has to keep going. But to just say that, all right, we're not doing anything with it, no, there's a lot of work that has to be done, and that we are doing when we're trying to procure assets for the country, for particularly utilization within the military. I mean, there's a lot of processes that we need to do before any procurement occurs.
Excellent.
Right.
So our time is up with this segment because we have to get to your two other colleagues, and I don't want them to accuse us of favoring you two in place of them. And so we want to thank you both for joining us this morning and answering some of our questions on your candidacy.
All right.
I appreciate it.
And when we come back, the conversation switches into David Castillo and Ramiro Ramirez. They're going to be talking to us about why you should vote for them. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
El Patio Grill has been using Belize Bank for over 25 years. We only use Belize Bank at our restaurant. That's why we were able to win this trip to Europe. I had never been to Europe. We found out it was Madrid, and we were excited, and we went to this football match. The teams reached before the game, and everybody was just outside, You can't explain. The noise just roared like 3 blocks down the street, but when you got in there and you saw 70,000 people in there, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it was happening. I had to pinch myself to make sure it was real, because it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, I'd say. My lucky plus one was my son. He's 18 years old, so he was really excited, and he enjoyed it as well. He said it's his best trip ever, so it's a priceless experience that we got. Belize Bank has always been there for me. Whatever transactions or whatever I need to do, they're always there for me. I would recommend everybody to use Belize Bank. It's the oldest bank in our country, and they continue to do their best.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make your purchase. There will also be a bike rally throughout the streets of Belize City, Blue Creek, and Spanish Lookout on February 8th, 15th, and 22nd respectively. All participants will get free oil change. Check out our Facebook page for more details. Love your Honda. It's all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February, only at Benquip Equipment Parts Service.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you, I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that third line bling. February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when the third line bling. Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
This is my first time here.
Hopefully it's my last. My dear friends, here we are, all in our true colors. Your transfer papers, your key to the Mvule kingdom.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I know.
Yeah, your clippers. Clippers.
Who's in?
We are perfect. We run this place. So let's act like it.
Solomon, the head prefect, quick. Is my collar straight?
We'll be out of Mvule High before you can pronounce the word scholarship.
We have a mystery to solve. The only way we can make a difference is if we stick together.
When I'm head prefect, each and every student will have a voice.
You need to show that news quick, Mvule.
I hate this school! Freedom to grow. Walking with my dog Luna at night feels safe because the streetlights are bright. Thanks to BL's LED streetlight project, our communities look much brighter. If you have an old fixture in your neighborhood, report it today using the BL 24/7 app. With just a few clicks, you too can help make our communities safer, brighter, and more energy efficient. Bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Coming up, a festival of long-distance running with some very familiar charms. How about Run Barbados? When it comes to entertainment, this iconic couple really puts on a show. Caribbean Passport TV brings the region closer together. Exciting destinations, healthier meals. Be viewing this station. So have your passport ready and let's travel.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
Good night, Carlos. Can you tell us what happened here? Yeah, I was in my living room getting ready to watch game, then bang, current gone. When I went outside, my current come back, and I see why. A crate of glowing light hose was connected to my breaker. Then I turned around and I see this well-dressed man leaving in my yard from where the crates are. Really? Come see for yourself. Bro, I just as confused as you, but current come back and game day on.
Thank you, Carlos. Well, viewers, you heard it here live.
well-dressed man, glowing crates of lighthouse. Studio, back to you.
Thank you, John. What a strange turn of events.
We'll be sure to investigate this further.
Until next time, viewers.
Welcome back. We continue the conversation of meeting the candidates vying for Corozal. In a first conversation, we spoke with Ms. Tia Garcia Ramirez and Mr. Florencio Marin. In this conversation, though, we are joined by David Castillo. He's the Corozal North PUP candidate, as well as Ramiro Ramirez, Corozal Southwest PUP candidate. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure being here. It's a pleasure being here at Open Your Eyes. Thank you guys for the opportunity so that we can share our plans, our vision to our constituency, to the voters, and to Belize.
Yes.
Before we continue, excuse me for my voice. Sunday was a lot of energy Sunday and a lot of shouting, and I'm a little bit hoarse this morning. But excuse me for that.
And that's what I was going to ask you guys. How are you feeling after the excitement that was Sunday?
Yeah, well, definitely Sunday was massive. I had the opportunity to take out my people. I managed to get some buses. We took buses of people from Corozal North, and full buses, so we had the numbers out there this Sunday, and our people are energized. They are ready for victory. We are ready to win.
Mr. Ramirez, how are you feeling after Sunday's show?
First of all, good morning, Sabrina and Paul. And thanks to the Almighty for having a nice day today.
Yes.
And of course, my people, of course, also Southwest. Well, the event Sunday was a massive event. Thank you to the Prime Minister and the organizers that we managed to bring a lot of buses. I think more than 100 buses countrywide. I brought 5 buses, plus small vehicles. And the problem is that everybody want to come and we cannot bring everybody. And it's not a criticism, but I think the next time we need a bigger space.
Oh, wow. I don't know what's bigger than the Civic at this point.
It ended up too small for us.
Wow, wow. That's incredible.
And that is very impressive. Thanks to the people again, because without the people, we're nothing, right?
Yeah.
What do you think Sunday's convention showed as it relates to the state of politics here in Belize? Do you believe that the show out on Sunday was a reflection of the people being satisfied with the PUP government, or simply not having another option when we look at what is taking place within the United Democratic Party?
This is my humble opinion. The PUP is doing a great job, but as you know, there's no a perfect political party nor a perfect constituencies. Let us be real. Everybody have downfalls. The PUP, we have been working as much as we can, and that is the mandate of the Prime Minister, that we supposed to give whatsoever we can to the people. And that's exactly what we are doing. For example, in my constituency, in 40 years, the one that moved from there was Honorable Florencio Marin Sr. Since then, we haven't have a PUP minister. I'm the first one Minister of State during the 43 years, right? The UDP already gotten minister, that was Gabriel Martinez, then Minister of State, that is Angel Campos. And in those 40 years, we haven't seen the development that we already have in Corozal Southwest. And that is part of the Plan Belize, and thanks to the Prime Minister. Because without the collaboration of them, we are nothing again, right? But we have been doing a lot of projects, and not only in Corozal Southwest. I think Thea mentioned what is happening in Corozal and what the Mayor Rigo Veos has been doing in Corozal Town, plus Honorable Elvia, that she gave something to Corozal B. But Florencio have been doing a lot of things. Here, my friend, with all the energy that he's getting now, And I always criticize him. You're supposed to do this from the beginning. So no path will be there. But again, we are not perfect. And life is life. We have to continue doing things, make people have more trust. Coming back to your comment about if the people are no option, people are really make their minds since 2020. When we won on 2020, the mandate was awesome. We won by big margins, right?
Yes.
And
so it speaks to you're saying satisfaction from the people in the People's United Party and the work they've done. Mr. Castillo, you have an uphill battle to fight here, and I know the momentum and the energy is on your side, but you're going up against a formidable opponent, if you would, in Mr. Hugo Pat.
That's right.
Talk a bit about the key issues that you've seen your constituency face and how, in what ways you believe you can better serve them.
Well, certainly, well, in Corozal North, I'm no stranger. I've been there for quite a while. My dad was once a representative for Corozal North, and so I was involved in the constituency from very little, involved in different capacities. But being involved directly with the people, then definitely you have a first-hand experience identifying problems in the constituency. And the truth of the matter, being out there, the area lacks leadership. Talking to the people, the area lacks stagnant development, from different areas, from when it comes to infrastructural work in the constituency, roads in particular, recreational centers and grounds. There's a lot of land issues in Corozal North, a lot of land issues. I have managed to help a lot of people in the area resolving many land problems, and then we go on, the area lacks. One of the things on the campaign trail that I'm getting, people reflect back in the days of the PUP representative. There was a lot of cultural and social programs and sporting in the area that has basically been abandoned in the area. So the people want us to revive back these programs because they recall that it united the villages, It brings that sense of unity. The families are out there, supporting these programs. So the people really want me to bring back these the social programs in the constituency, But certainly things are looking good on the ground. I'm very optimistic. And people admire one thing about me, that yes, I've run before and I have lost, but the work never did stop. A lot of some of the voters, you remind us of the great president of Mexico, Manuel Lopez Obrador, and he became, one of the greatest presidents of Mexico, simply because he was there for the people. His heart was for the people, and certainly we're here our commitment is for the people and to serve the people.
Go ahead, Sam.
How confident are you this time around that you will be voted in?
Well, with the blessings of God and the support of the people, I'm confident we will be victorious in Corozal North. I'm very confident simply because, you can't go wrong with statistics. We have managed to gain grounds in the constituency. Since the 2022 village council elections, we managed to gain more PUP village councils in the area. But the biggest swing was the part of the municipality, which is the Altamira area, that's polling area for the one. For 20 years, that area remained the UDP. But this recent municipal election, it swung to PUP.
It's a big percentage of the voters there?
It's approximately 1,500 registered voters there, so it's a huge amount.
And you do have part of the municipality in your constituency as well.
That's right. That's the Altamira, Chula Vista remote young area, which is equivalent to 1,500 registered voters.
Let me just switch the conversation a bit and go to Mr. Ramirez. Let's talk a bit, Mr. Ramirez, about what specific industry or sector in Corozal you view as having the most potential for growth, economic growth, and job creation at this point.
For many years, I keep encouraging farmers to diversification, to diversify. The most potential to me can be the tourism industry. Thanks to the new road that we're having, Corozal to Sarteneja, right? That will be awesome, and we can create more jobs. But of course, we need to encourage investors. For example, in my constituency, I want to see more industry, like any kind of factory. For example, what we use every day, shoes, and we don't have a factory shoes here, right? We have clothing, and we go to Chetumal or to Melchor to buy clothing, or we import it. So something like that I'm trying to do in my constituency. Thanks to ambassador from Venezuela, we have a group of women working right now in sewing, and why I'd encourage them to do that. Thanks again to the Plan Belize, we have Escuela Mexico that we give free education, plus we are giving the suits. And there is 850 students on which we give 4 suits to them, free. 3 for high school and 1 for physical education. So multiply that times 850. Right there you can create a job. Surround the area, we have schools. We have Louisville, we have Santa Clara, we have San Narciso. Again, just on students, there are more than 2,000 students going to school. And if we can provide those uniforms, those kids, that's another industry in that area. But we need to teach them, right?
Yes. Yeah. So you speak of opportunities that exists that we still have not tapped into. One of the things that I'm curious to know is how you have used the portfolio that you were given to create change within your community. You're the Minister of State under Rural Transformation, Community Development, Local Government. How did you use your influence?
Well, I can say thanks again to my minister, Oscar Requena, and the CEO, Valentino Schal. Anything that we can do for the people, and especially on potable water, right? For example, as soon as we won, Estrella never had no good potable water. So what we did, we built a tank there, right? The Lee Reservoir, we put the pump. Right now, as we speak, we're doing the meter because it's getting old and you need to refurbish. Libertad. Libertad, we pump $1.5 million in between Libertad and Concepcion because it's one water board. What I have been advocating to my Prime Minister is, and my ministry, we need a water reservoir only for Concepcion because Concepcion is a big community and Libertad is another big community. But unfortunately, what is the headache there? During the past government, it makes me laugh because it's not a little bit of money. Just on current for the water board is $59,000 that we owe to that company. But why? Because the UDP use the water boards as political thing. Don't pay your bill, I will try cover, but they never cover it. Now that we won, now we have a bill of $59,000. So what we did, we opened another well with another meter. So we manage this one, but we still have this debt. Yeah. And we are paying, all depends how the community pays, we put 1,000 or 1,300 to that debt. We have it up to 35 right now, and of course, this term, I will make sure that will be cleared. Yeah. And that's how we use our ministry to help. We have been expanding not only Libertad and Concepcion, but Louisville and San Narciso is another community, and we have been putting more pipes, for people because every village is growing. Let us put it that way. Expansions, right? San Victor, we already helped San Victor. All my constituency have been getting. Plus, we have the trucks that are doing airlifting on old pumps. We need to provide that good water to our community.
And I was just going to interject there to say water is so important, especially in Corozal when you think about farmers and you think about the need for access to water. Mr. Castillo, I don't know if you've been following the trends where climate change is concerned, and you'd probably have to live under a rock if you don't know about climate change, and climate change will take you from under that rock because it will be so hot, right?
Yes.
Talk a bit about what you've been seeing where climate change is concerned with the farmers in Corozal, and what initiatives would you advocate for to tackle those challenges?
Well, certainly, as we know, climate change is a reality, and it is affecting the farmers in Corozal North. As current, you know, it has been raining for the past months, actually from October of last year straight through here until February, and it's affecting the farmers. You know, it's affecting with the cane, you know, in delivering the cane. So it's a reality in Corozal North. I'm in close communication with the cane associations. You know, I have a relationship with them. When elected, I will continue to do so, because it's important to work with the different stakeholders in regards to the sugar industry and farmers in a whole. Certainly, we have I can say that we have a good Minister of Agriculture, you know, whereby we work closely with him to assist the farmers in Corozal North. We need to, when in regards to the drought, you know, I think a couple of years back there was a drought that affected the North badly, and so we need to, it's about proper management, you know, in regards to our resources, our natural resource, in particular water, you know. So the ministry has, over the years, has been assisting the farmers with wells, you know, so that they have that water for their plantation, you know. But certainly the government has been supporting the farmers a lot in different programs, trying to take advantage of technology, because we must take advantage of technology in this area, you know, to support our farmers. But certainly we'll continue working with the cane farmers and farmers. We continue building that relationship with them, because it's very important, you know. And they have my full support. They know it, you know. I'm there, and we will continue working with them.
Many Belizeans feel discontented with their representative after elections, because they often feel like, all right, I given them a vote, I given them a support, I was there at the rallies, I wore the t-shirt, I raised the banners through the streets, but then after that, when you get big ministerial role and just disappear, how can you commit to ensuring that you maintain dialogue and connection with the residents in your constituency? Starting at you, Mr. Ernest.
Well, it's a good question. It's not easy for no politician, and it's impossible to give jobs to everybody. And one of the most jobs people want is immigration and custom.
Imagine.
So it's not easy.
You're in Corozal, so I mean, it's a border.
Yes, we're trying to do our best. When we inherit, remember when we inherit 2020, the economy was not so nice, right? Plus we had another monster that was the COVID. All of us are forgetting about the COVID, but man, that left something behind.
Yes.
Was very hard when we started. Remember, no jobs because the free zone was closed. Thanks to this Plan Belize and the PM, we reopened the free zone that is creating more than 3,000 jobs. Then remember, during the COVID, what never stopped? Tourism stopped. Everything stopped. But what never stopped? The sugar industry. The farmers, every day they were going and doing their homework, working hard. That's why we, in my ministry, coming back to my ministry, what we are doing, helping the farmers with wells, because agriculture is important. The food on the table is very important. Cattle is very important. So we are helping the farmers on that way countrywide, not only Corozal or my constituency, countrywide. Yes, we have to do a lot of things coming back to jobs. That's why I mentioned what we can do in my constituency, like shoes. that can create jobs. No? And we need to find more things. As I mentioned before, tourism. We need to get more investors to come, especially in the north, right? Because we have the potential. We have the Mexicans that can come and buy. We need to facilitate their passing to Belize. We don't need to charge them the insurance, too much papers and all that. How we go to Chetumal? Just with your passport and boom, you got. You don't need to pay no insurance. Why we not treat them the same way? So we can boost the economy in the Corozal area. And not only Corozal, maybe up to Orange Rock. They love the rice and beans, They love the rice and beans, but it's just the same thing as us. We love the tacos, but, let us facilitate that.
That exchange.
Exchange.
Now, I'll ask you the same question, Mr. Castillo. Sure. How you intend to stay connected? And then just throw in a final question there to tell us and tell your voters why is it that they should choose you over your opponent?
Yeah, well certainly my approach is an approach that I don't work alone. I have a team, and to meet the demands of the constituency, you need to have a team. Whereby I have currently 2 teams. I have a political structure that will be dealing with the political affairs in the constituency, whether it is fundraising, whether it is new voters registration, or promoting social programs, or meeting the people, or whatever concern the people have, they will go to them. But in addition to that, I also have put a technical team together, a technical capacity to ensure that we meet our targets in regards to projects. We can't solely depend on the government. We need to seek other avenues as to how to seek projects for the constituency. So I managed to put a technical team to help me, whereby I cannot micromanage. If you micromanage, you will fail. It's important to have these teams. But additional to do these 2 teams, I will ensure that we have a constituency office. As the new representative for Corozal North, we'll be having an office from Monday to Friday, attending to the people, and I will ensure weekly I'm there, addressing the needs of the people of Corozal North. But it's important that we continue the Judge Price approach to politics. We need to ensure that our committees and we work together to have these social programs, Mother's Day program, Children's Christmas program for the kids, sporting programs, and not allow the politician, the candidate or representative to be out there and the people to see you. So we need to be active in these areas, so we always have that communication, that touch with the people is important. And truthfully, over the years I have been very active in the community. We have embarked in many community projects, from cleanup campaign, in the constituency, to sports and many other social programs, culture. So yeah, we're in touch, and I will ensure that we maintain that, because then we're not only watching or looking at the 2025 elections. In 5 years' time, there will be another election.
Yes.
So we got to prepare for that.
Excellent. In one breath, Mr. Ramirez, tell us, why should your constituency voters choose you over your opponent, whosoever your opponent will be?
Well,
one breath.
Again, let us be real. You cannot judge the book by cover, right? So when I started, they never gave me the opportunity. That was 2006 to run an election 2008. I ran a convention against Gregorio Garcia. Gregorio lost in 2008. So I ran, and I won in 2012. So why they never gave me that opportunity then? It's just like my brother here. Don't judge the book by cover. David haven't served under one government. I pledge to the people to support David, and David can show them that he is better than Hugo Pat. I don't proven myself, right? So I think the people, I cannot satisfy everybody, but to win you need 50 plus 1, right? So with that, I encourage my people. The doors of my office is the doors like heaven. everybody are welcome.
But not everybody could get in. Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Castillo, we're out of time, but I do want to thank you both so much for joining us this morning. Very insightful conversation, and I appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, we take another quick break, but when we come back, the conversation switches into hitting baseball dreams out the park. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's time to wake up, move, and feel amazing. Get your heart pumping and your energy flowing with Morning Boost, a fun and dynamic workout show to kickstart your day. Whether you're a beginner or a fitness pro, we've got the moves to keep you motivated. So grab your mat, set your alarm, and let's get moving. Morning Boost, weekdays at 6 a.m., only on Channel 5.
My name is Leomar Langzert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is to see if the features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
It's time to wake up, move, and feel amazing. Get your heart pumping and your energy flowing with Morning Boost, a fun and dynamic workout show to kickstart your day. Whether you're a beginner or a fitness pro, we've got the moves to keep you motivated. So grab your mat, set your alarm, and let's get moving. Morning Boost, weekdays at 6 a.m., only on Channel 5.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Yo me siento contenta porque poder ayudar a que los niños puedan tener una vida saludable es algo que yo como madre puedo sentir bien porque puedo ayudar no solamente a un hijo mío, sino también a los niños de la escuela. Mi nombre es Samaris Rivera Sainsbury, trabajo aquí en la cocina de Eden Primary School. Cada niño que está aquí en esta escuela es como si fuera un hijo nuestro. Cada preparación va hecha con esmero, con amor, con dedicación, poniéndole todos los ingredientes necesarios, los nutrientes que ellos necesitan para que pues tengan una vida saludable.
To me, it's not just a program, it's not just an initiative. It's something that will help them to develop a better lifestyle. As citizens, we want to be healthier. And as the national plan says for health, by 2030, if I'm not mistaken, we are supposed to have a healthy nation. And so this initiative has helped us in a sense to build better citizens and citizens who won't get sick that often.
Welcome back. This is our third conversation. And as we mentioned, it's all about hitting baseball dreams out the park. We are joined this morning by Jermaine Crawford. He is the president of the Belize Baseball League. With him is Delbert Hines. He is a Belizean baseball player that recently got the opportunity to travel to Japan and play for the
B-Stars.
B-Stars. But if you want to say the proper name, it is the
Asahikawa
Beaters. Yes. And also with us is Kazu. He's a coach with Jika, and Rene Habet, also a coach representing the Youth Baseball Association of Belize. Guys, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you.
This is absolutely exciting. A Belizean getting the opportunity to represent us outside of the country, all the way in Japan on the other side of the world. Before we even get into what this opportunity has looked like, let's talk about the Belize Baseball League in the first place. I have here with me our sportscaster, Paul Lopez. So he covers everything really sports related here in the country. But I think it's very few that we speak of baseball rather than softball, which we're more known to play, yes? Let's talk about that, Mr. Crawford.
I think Mr. Rene could do a do more justice with baseball, but I think going back historically, we all know about the Cubs and Gary Matthews coming to Belize, and the little league started, I think like 87 or 86 thereabout. But it died off 1992, 1993. And since then, we have primarily been playing softball. And we have been hearing the buzzword all over the country. We're bringing back baseball to Belize, and baseball has been here. And there are a few guys who have been going over the border to Chetumal and different places to play baseball on their own. But I see baseball as a hook, as a discipline, as an opportunity, a sport that I love. I'm a teacher by heart, vocation, but how do we instill discipline, community, integration? So baseball, Belize Baseball League started with that in mind, as a ministry to youth, to open more opportunities for communities and families.
Mr. Habet, let's talk a bit about what has been happening behind the scenes with baseball in Belize, and how you came in contact with Delbert as well, because I would imagine he's been under your wings.
Yes, well, I met Delbert when he was going to Salvation Army. And I went there to coach the...
You in primary school?
In primary school.
Okay.
He was in Standard 5.
Wow.
So I took the team and we worked out. The team came in first for the Belize for the Belize. And then they went to the Nationals and we won first place as well.
Okay.
So from then, Delbert showed a lot of resilience and showed that he had this lot of interest that for the sport. So I took him up, and then I told him that if he wants to become better, he needs to dedicate, stay focused, stay determined, because you can't let nobody defer you, because right now we live in a society right now, there's too much things with these young men that's happening. And for the sports, I've been coaching for over 25 years, this sport, and I've been trying to keep the youths them off the street and into the stadium. So by doing that, if they're there, then their mind is more focused on something positive instead of being on the street thinking about something negative out there.
How great of an accomplishment or an achievement is it for you personally, or what does it mean for you now to see Delbert advancing in his career, if you would, with this opportunity?
I mean, it's a dream for me, because I've been coaching for so long. I've been wanting something like this to happen for so long. So when we have other youths too that has the little opportunity, but Delbert has gotten this opportunity, so this is his moment.
Yes. Yeah.
But he has worked for it, and the number one thing that they like about him is because he's a left-hander and he's a pitcher. So that what gives him that little extra edge. Yeah. So But like I say, I love this sport so much. I really love to coach this sport. I was thinking about retiring from the sport, but Mr. Crawford told me, you're still young yet.
What's the difference? What's the difference between baseball and softball?
Well, there are certain differences. For the baseball, the pitches come from over the top. For softball, it's underhand. For the bases, the length of the bases for softball is 60 feet, and for baseball, it's 90 feet. But basically, the training and the different type of methods that you use are basically the same.
Okay.
Ball size.
And the softball ball is larger. It's 12 inch, and the baseball is like 5.5.
Now we'll get to Delbert, but I want to speak to Mr. Kazu first, just to talk a bit about how this collaboration came about, where you guys have identified a Belizean baseball athlete and you found a place for him in a team in Japan. It's two worlds apart coming together.
I understand, but I can't say sorry.
Okay. You're English. All right. So, what can you say? Well, talk to us. Just tell us a bit about your excitement then. How excited you are. Short. Tell us about how excited you are about this.
Sorry, my English level is baby.
I mean, you could have told us that. I'll accept that though.
Yes.
So do you want to say anything else, or that's about it?
Belize baseball, Japan, Delbert. You want to share information
about how excited you are? Are you excited about this? You're excited?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Excited.
Yes, excited. All right, I'll take that from you. Excited. We're all excited.
Japanese players, very high level. This, me, this, Delbert, this.
Oh, good.
Yes, good. I think he can do it.
There you go. Excellent.
There we go.
Delbert.
And to the man of the hour, Delbert.
Yes. You have your Japanese lingo down already?
Ready.
You ready? Is there anything you could say in Japanese so far?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Tell us a bit about what this opportunity means for you after years of baseball.
Well, this means everything to me right now. I'm just trying to stay injury-free, no injuries. Currently I'm playing softball, but I just try to take my time while being on the field, be precautious, and try not to push the limits. I still work, I'm a fisherman, but when I came from work, I come to the stadium, and I work with Mr. Kazu or Mr. Habit, who is available. Sometimes Mr. Jerry Crawford comes, brings the ball, we hit, pitch, because I'm also a great hitter.
Okay.
So I don't like to only be a PO, which means pitchers only. I love to hit, I love to field, everything.
Wow.
My baseball career started in 2021. I started to practice, and I got the opportunity to go to Guatemala to attend a camp from a pitching coach, which came from Dominica. So I stayed, advanced my mechanics and everything. The next time I traveled was in 2024 to Houston, which was also a pitching camp. During the pitching camp period, I got noticed by a Division I team in Austin, Texas, where I came back to Belize after the camp, and I went back and I played in the playoff. We also came in first place.
Wow.
Yes. So it was like that short period of time. It's just experience. But baseball is mostly repetition. The more you get repetition, the better you become. And right now, all I need is repetition. And at this moment, I'm currently going to the gym to
push hard.
Yes.
So
I need a little bit.
What would be the terms of this opportunity? Him traveling to Japan, he'll be playing for a team. Is this kind of like a job as well?
It's a minor league development team, and it's a job, but no stipend, no payment. Strict rules as it relates to monetary compensation. So his expenses, his living conditions is on him, on us, and our baseball community right now. It's our hope though that, well, let's backtrack. He signed a 90 days contract with the Japanese development team, which starts May 1st to July 30. So for the 3 months he'll be in Japan on a development program. It's our hope that he is re-signed.
Yeah.
and not to a minor league team, but to a major league team,
Yeah.
which then gives him the opportunity to be paid.
Okay.
The Japanese are well known for baseball, right?
Yes.
I mean, they have a couple of players in the major leagues in the US as well. In fact, there's one, I can't remember his name.
Lot.
There's a lot.
There's
but I
a
know
lot.
there's one superstar pitcher.
Roki Asaki.
How?
Roki Asaki.
Right, that name right there. The name.
There's Rokosaki, there's also Otani,
Yeah.
there's Ichiro.
Yamamoto.
Yeah. So there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for financial support here. People can pitch in.
We're reaching out. We're reaching out to organizations as we speak, and to see how best we could support Delbert. He's a part of us, and what we do for him represents not only baseball in Belize, but for youths in general. You know, so we're looking, as Mr. Habit said, there are others. Last year, actually, we had the same opportunity, but due to the short space of time, and I believe companies rebounding from COVID and different financial and the last minute preparation, we couldn't get it off the ground. But since January and earlier this month, we have started, and with Kazu's help, he has been the mediator between the Japanese and the Belize.
All right. So for the sake of time, Delbert, I'll give you the final say. Is there anybody you'd like to thank, people you'd like to big up for this opportunity?
Well, I just like to thank the Federation of Baseball for Belize and the softball, and who all can help me, just, you know, and I'll try my best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we are certainly proud of you, Delbert, and we're really excited to see what other opportunities will come from the league. Thank you, Kazu, as well, for stepping in and providing that medium to give Belizeans opportunities like this as well.
And Coach as well for your continued investment in baseball in Belize, and we hope to see more and more stories like this come to pass.
Alrighty. Well, we take our final break, but when we come back, we have one more conversation for you. It switches into preserving the reef for future generations. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, heart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Our older persons deserve to live with dignity and respect. They built this country, and now it's our turn to care for them. Under Plan Belize, we've taken significant steps to improve the lives of our seniors. We've expanded the Boost program, launched the Roving Caregivers program, and included seniors in our low-income housing initiative. We've made healthcare more accessible by expanding the national health insurance and removing primary healthcare fees. We've championed the rights of our older persons by enacting the disability legislation and signing the Inter-American Convention on Protecting the Human Rights of Older Persons. The government of Belize is committed to ensuring a better tomorrow for all Belizeans, especially our elders. Plan Belize, delivering on our promise to protect our older persons.
Belize. The countdown to Decision 2025 is on, and the voices that matter are speaking up. What are the biggest issues? Who are the key players? And what does it all mean for you? Join April Martinez, Demi Williams, and Harold Young as they break down the issues, the candidates, and the real impact of this election. Tune in to Power and the People, where your voice matters. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. only on Channel 5.
Final conversation for this morning, and it's all about a group of environmentalists making an impact in our community. So we have joining us on set Miss Melanie McField, and she's the founder and director of Healthy Reefs for Healthy People. Mr. Rafael Martinez, who's a country coordinator, Healthy Reefs for Healthy People, as well as Leon Kane, who's a mural and sign painter. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure having you all. You all were making a lot of noise and a lot of activities. I'm just kidding about that. But you had the Lighthouse Park and that area very active yesterday. I didn't know that you all were behind that. So let's talk a bit about what happened yesterday and how this initiative came to be.
Okay. Positive Legacy is the group from the Jam Cruise. So Jam Cruise is a music festival at sea that happens like once a year. They go to different ports of call. So that entity, they raise money on the ship by having artists like sign posters and things like that. They raise their money, then they find a local NGO from one of the ports of call. So we did a project with them last year in Mexico, and this year they said let's do it in Belize. So Rafael helped pick the location, and we thought this Lighthouse Park would just be perfect opportunity so all the cruise passengers and all the kids that visit that park would have a chance to learn more about marine conservation and about the beautiful marine life we have. It brings in, we built this, well, I'll let Leon talk about the stage because he built the stage and painted the mural. So that gives like a new focal point for the park so people can enjoy arts and conservation together.
It's so interesting when we think of the opportunity to connect tourism with conservation. And I think that was a point of conversation we had just a couple weeks ago at the Belize Tourism Industry Association's AGM, where opportunities like that would look. Before we get to Mr. Kane, though, I want to talk about the selection of the location and why you decided to go the route to have a mural be painted there.
Well, looking at that Lighthouse Park particularly, that was once Animal Park that most of us know it by. We recognize it for having sculptures and all of that at the park and very well painted. So when they mentioned the idea and they wanted a close location, the first thing that came to mind right beside Tourist Village, walking distance, that they could jump off the cruise ship and we could do some serious work at Lighthouse Park, and let's put the marine flair to it, you know, and that's where that location came to mind.
And the collaboration with Mr. Kane, how did that come to be?
Well, I've known Melanie for a while. We've been friends, and she had asked me about it a while ago, and you know, I am kind of into conservation as much as I can. So she wanted a mural, so she takes care of the reef. So we needed to put something that we could include, some animals, the reef, the water, and what came to my mind first was the turtle, the hawksbill. I could remember as a child, and a lot of people will relate to this. We used to go to Central Market, with my parents, and they had huge hawksbill turtles, on their backs, under the tables and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to capture, in this mural to kind of, bring awareness.
Yeah.
She sent me a list, of the endangered, animals we have here. Some fishes, and that list, it's like you don't even know that it's, endangered. So it was, I had to incorporate some of these things to make it.
Yes.
Excellent. So how do we maintain this now, Ms. McPhail, and ensure that the work here, that there is a return on the investment, if you would, whatever that return looks like?
Well, we need groups like the other conservation groups, schools. We had 2 school groups out. It was Holy Redeemer and
Holy Redeemer and St. Mary's.
St. Mary's,
and,
yeah. There's some from the Holy Redeemer painting right there, yeah. So
and they're hard at work as well.
Exactly.
They did an excellent job.
They must have enjoyed that day out of classrooms.
It was just a few hours.
Yeah.
This whole thing, all of this work happened in like 4 hours, and there were 100 guests from the cruise ship that volunteered their time. And they showed up and they were like, where's the paintbrushes? We're ready to go. They were so ready to go. And so much work got accomplished in that short time because 100 hands working hard. And then the kids showed up and they did some more. So it was pretty amazing. I've never seen anything quite like it, but the Positive Legacy group, that's what they do. It's always a little chaotic, but they managed this group. And then the music was playing the whole time. The drums, not guns group came up from Gales Point, and they were playing while we all started walking in. And then 2 of the different bands from the ship were playing, and people were dancing. So it really was interesting. And then Center Stage was there. So yeah, we had a nice mixture of musicians from the ship mingling with the local musicians and people painting, and ideas were born like right at the moment, like let's paint the back wall and they did some freehand stuff. People were doing little stencils on the patio. So there's marine life all over the place now.
And that's just one of the projects coming out of the Healthy Reefs for Healthy People organization. Are there any future initiatives that we should be anticipating this 2025?
Well, I think our 2024 report card came out kind of late last year, and so you might not have heard that much about that. Raphael did a number of speaking engagements around to talk about this, but it does tell you like the latest update on how the reef is doing. And big picture good news was the whole reef went up a little notch in health.
Wow.
So yeah, that was good, but this was all monitoring that was accomplished last summer. So we're a little worried about, we'll be back in the field this summer. I think we will see some more of the coral devastation from the bleaching event. It was ongoing while this work was conducted, and there was more the following year.
When was it launched?
October of last year.
October of last year.
End of October.
In summary, Raphael, tell us, what is it saying that Belizeans should be proud of, in summary, and Belizeans should be concerned about?
Well, in summary, we saw a decline post-COVID. Pre-COVID, COVID did a number on the marine environment, and after that, we saw a rebound, especially in some of the numbers like the commercial fish and herbivorous fish. So we're looking at it in a way that we have resilient reef. We have reef that are able to bounce back, and if we do our part in ensuring that we do our best to conserve and protect what's in our marine environment, we'll see no problem with our reef continue to improve. So that's the positive outlook that I'm seeing when it comes to the report card.
Yeah. I see here it says the reef health increased for the first time in 5 years, mainly due to increased herbivorous fish, although overall health remains poor. What are examples of herbivorous fish?
Parrotfish.
The parrotfish.
Parrotfish.
Yeah.
And then the blue tangs that looks like Dory from Nemo, if you remember.
So they're
Dory,
the ones
yeah.
helping us.
Yeah. And they are protected region-wide now. So that was a big effort that Healthy Reefs took on from 2009 in Belize, 2010 in Honduras, 15 in Guatemala, and like 18 in Mexico.
And a lot of people, especially in Belize, they know Healthy Reef as science-based. They know it's for the report card. And so it was good to jump into that social component and do a community project like what we did in Lighthouse. Spread awareness, environmental awareness, have a nice recreational space for the community, and foster that community support around conservation efforts. And so that was the main point of this, and there's still ongoing work to be done at the Lighthouse Park, and of course ongoing work for Healthy Reefs to make an impact.
Well, I will certainly have to say I can't wait to pass by to get a look at it. I may actually drive by later this evening, but I want to thank you all so much for joining us this morning and congratulate you on the excellent work you're doing. I mean, what you do with the reef and the conservation and awareness is invaluable to our people, and we cannot thank you all enough and recognize you enough for your work. So thank you so much, and thank you for joining us this morning.
And people should use the park. We want that in that stage, so like school groups that might be able to use the stage for music or a little play performance. That really, that space, I hope it gets used a lot.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much. That does it for this morning's show. We want to also say a huge thank you to all of our other guests who joined us and you guys for tuning in with us. It is the 18th of February, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to ya. And if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also send us a text message at 675-2555.
And also you could catch us on Facebook live every single weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BZ, and tomorrow morning we'll continue our political conversations. We'll head over from Corozal, we'll come south, lower north to Orange Walk, where we'll have UDP representatives from Orange Walk.
We'll also be having our first episode of Power and the People on, and we'll be talking to Jeremy Enriquez, one of the claimants in the redistricting case.
That's
still
tonight.
That is tonight, the first night of Power and the People, 7:30. But you can also catch us on Instagram at OIE Belize. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
And start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.